Hi, Pisces. Welcome to your February 2016 love reading. It's Rena here. So, I believe I did your love reading already, and I'm doing it again, choosing different cards because there was a problem with the mic on my tablet. And I believe that things happen for a reason. So, this is the reading that is meant for you in the love arena as far as I'm concerned. Now, as the month begins, you have Venus, which is obviously the goddess of love, in your 11th house. And this means that some of you may possibly meet a lover through friends, or perhaps you are having a lot of positive emotional experiences within your group of friends or with other groups that you belong to. Maybe you will meet somebody in a group setting of some sort. But then on the 17th, it goes into your 12th house. And this is Pisces' natural house. It's a very hidden place. This may be good for artists as it gives creative inspiration, but it's also the house that deals with past lives. So maybe some of you will meet someone that has some kind of karmic connection to you. Just remember that even if somebody feels familiar to you, that it may be still some old crap that gets generated and not necessarily a soulmate connection. So don't just take the familiarity as something that's going to be a positive influence in your life. But you do get this lover's card as the current position. And this means that there is some intimacy that is going on for some of you. Maybe some of you are in the throes of an affair. And the lover's card connects to the sign Gemini. So perhaps some of you are hooking up with a Gemini. And Gemini is a fellow mutable sign. It forms a square with Pisces. And sometimes these people hook up, but it is challenging in some ways for a Gemini and Pisces person to be together. And so it might not be smooth sailing if it's specifically that sign, but it could also relate to a choice that needs to be made. And it could be with two people, or it could be within the relationship, whether or not to continue it. There are many possibilities. The reason for you being like the lovers is the Emperor card. So I'm wondering if some of you are having affairs. And the reason why you're having this affair is because you're with a very rigid person, a person who is like law and order, um, very authoritarian, very rigid in their views, and not open to cooperation. It's associated with the sign of Aries. So it could literally be an Aries person, which is right next to you in the zodiac. But it might just be somebody who is very controlling. And so you've had it, but in typical Piscean fashion, you are having an affair rather than dealing head on with your dissatisfaction within the relationship. The higher perspective is the Knight of Cups. So it could be that this other person is more romantic than your partner, is more caring. Maybe you're with somebody who is rather cold. I actually think that the Emperor could be a Capricorn, even though it is associated with Aries, because rulers tend to not rule from the heart chakra, but rather the third chakra, which is the power chakra. So that might indicate that you're with somebody who is rather unfeeling, and you sought the comfort of somebody who was caring, where you could connect emotionally. And it could be suggesting that you are getting with a water sign, a fellow water sign. So either another Pisces or with a Scorpio or a Cancerian. The advice for you is the Seven of Swords. So this is about discretion. And so if you are somebody who is trying to get away from a bad relationship, you may have to kind of do so on the down low. And definitely, if you're having an affair and you're dealing with this law and order person, they're not going to take very kindly if they find out. So you're going to really have to play your cards close to your vest. And part of this is not broadcasting your life to everybody, because word gets around and you may discover that your secret is out. I think rather than overt advice, this card may also be just reminding you that you're acting in a very sketchy manner if you are having an affair, and that integrity is an important quality to possess in life. And it could be for some of you that you have to watch out for this Knight of Cups. Sometimes these Knights of Cups individuals are players. They have the whole spiel down and they know exactly what to say to you to get you to get involved with them. And they've got the whole rap down pat. But they are just going from one person to the other. So be very careful because they can use the poetry and the flowers and all that jazz. And you'll eat it up with a big spoon because you're a Pisces. And they may be con artists underneath all the hearts and flowers. Um, the card that crosses you is the Five of Wands. So for some of you, you may be adverse to kind of upsetting the apple cart in your relationship because you don't want that contention that may arise by coming clean and asking for what you want. If it's a divorce, if it's that your partner stop doing certain things or start doing certain things, and especially if your partner does resemble the emperor and is very unyielding and expects you to do all the kowtowing, then you may be afraid of any kind of conflict and just avoid it altogether, because that's kind of like the Piscean way of doing things, is living in the fantasy rather than dealing with the reality, because the reality can be kind of harsh. And the point is that you can always escape, but it's not going to get you what you want. So if you are having an affair, that's just a temporary band-aid. That's not going to be something you're going to be able to continue for the rest of your life. And if you were to be able to do that, it seems rather sad, because you shouldn't have to go through your life sneaking and hiding and lying and not being a person of integrity just to get your needs met. This card could also mean that the choice that I mentioned with the Lover's card at the beginning is something that another person is making you go through. So maybe your partner has a person on the side and you feel like you have to be in competition with that person for your partner's affection. If that's the case, what is your insult level? What hoops are you willing to jump through in order to get this person to pick you over the other person? And it seems to me that it's rather humiliating to even put yourself out there like that. But that may be something that you're considering or dealing with. The outcome is the Page of Cups. So this is somebody who is in touch with the intuitive side of life. And it can mean that you are able to really use your discernment much better in the future based on the experience that you've had in the recent past. Because when you go through something like that, it creates expansion within you. And if you learn the lessons of whatever happened, it can really impact your future in a positive way. Now, this card could also relate to receiving a message that is a heartfelt one. So perhaps you hear from somebody from your past, even. And again, as I said before, with Venus going into your 12th house on the 17th, maybe this is somebody that you will meet online, the pages, messages, whether it's through Facebook or whether it's through maybe it's somebody that you knew in the past and you hook up again with, or maybe it's just somebody you meet supposedly for the first time, but there's a real spiritual connection between you. That might be what happens eventually in the last half of the month. Anyway, Pisces, it looks very intriguing and full of a lot of romantic possibilities. I hope you enjoyed this. Obviously, this is a general reading. If you'd like something personalized using your birth data, just click on the link below and I have a list of different readings. Bye.